If you look at your life and realize that your circle has always been small, maybe just one or two people, or sometimes no one at all, you've probably asked yourself a question most people are afraid to say out loud. What if something is wrong with me? You see other people, constantly surrounded by friends, always texting, always meeting, always needing someone around them. And instead of feeling excited by that life, you feel tired just watching it. At some point, the question turns inward. Why doesn't connection energize me the way it seems to energize everyone else? Why do I feel more at peace alone than in a crowd? Society has a simple answer for people like you. It calls you antisocial, cold, detached, emotionally distant. But psychology tells a very different story, because in most cases, people with very few friends aren't broken. They're simply wired differently. What looks like loneliness from the outside is often selectivity on the inside. What looks like withdrawal is often energy preservation. And what looks like emotional distance is usually depth. You don't avoid people because you hate them. You avoid situations that drain you. One of the rare traits commonly found in people with small social circles is a very low tolerance for inauthentic behavior. In simpler terms, you can't stand fake people, small talk that goes nowhere, forced laughter, performative kindness, conversations where everyone is playing a role instead of being real. Your nervous system reacts to these situations almost like an allergy. Something feels off, even if you can't explain it. So instead of forcing yourself to adapt, you opt out. You would rather sit alone in silence than spend an hour pretending to care about things that don't matter to you. This isn't arrogance, and it isn't social failure. It's psychological self-protection. Another trait that quietly shapes your life is a strong preference for depth over quantity. Most social environments are designed for speed. Fast jokes, fast replies, fast bonding. But your brain doesn't work that way. You're wired to slow things down, to look for meaning, to notice patterns, to ask questions most people never stop long enough to ask. You don't want to talk about nothing. You want to talk about everything that actually matters. Ideas, motivations, fear, purpose, how people really think. And because most interactions never reach that level, you disengage, not because you're incapable of connection, but because you refuse shallow ones. There's also something else happening beneath the surface. After social interaction, your nervous system needs recovery time, not because you hate people, but because you process them deeply. You notice tone shifts, micro-expressions, unspoken tension, what people say versus what they mean. Your brain is constantly analyzing, so what feels energizing to others feels draining to you. Solitude isn't isolation in your world, it's maintenance. Being alone allows your nervous system to reset, reorganize, and breathe. Another rare trait often misunderstood is your low dependence on external validation. You don't need constant feedback to feel grounded. You don't need an audience to feel real. You can sit alone with your thoughts, entertain yourself, motivate yourself. You regulate your emotions internally instead of outsourcing them to other people. Psychologically, this points to a strong internal locus of control. And while this independence looks cold from the outside, it's actually a form of quiet strength. Then there's the trait that shapes how close people are allowed to get to you. You have a high trust threshold. This doesn't mean you distrust everyone. It means you don't rush connection. Many people with small social circles learned early, through betrayal, neglect, or disappointment, that access to their inner world should be earned. So you observe. You notice how people behave when they're frustrated, how they talk about others when no one is watching, how consistent they are over time. Few people pass. And that's intentional. Here's where most people get it wrong. They assume having few friends means something is missing. But psychology often shows the opposite. It means something has been filtered. Your mind prioritizes quality, safety, and authenticity over belonging. You're not antisocial. You're selectively social. You're not distant. You're internally complete. You don't lack connection. You reject noise. In a world that rewards constant interaction, constant visibility, and constant stimulation, your wiring can feel out of place. But historically, minds like yours were the observers, the thinkers, the architects, people who didn't speak often, but when they did, it mattered. So if you've ever felt guilty for having few friends, let this idea settle in. Your small circle isn't a flaw, it's a boundary. And your comfort with solitude isn't emptiness. It's evidence of a mind that doesn't need the crowd to feel whole. If this video felt uncomfortably accurate, it's because it was meant to. You're not alone in this experience, even if your life looks quiet from the outside. This is AG mentality. And this channel exists for minds that don't fit easily into the noise.